When my parents retired, they gave the company to my cousin. Said he deserves it more, you'll understand. So I smiled and backed off. 3 months later, I brought someone to dinner. My cousin dropped his wine glass. My mom started crying. It was the kind of dinner where everything looked perfect. At first glance, the table was set with mom's special occasion china. The wine glasses sparkled under the chandelier. Even the mashed potatoes looked like they'd been shaped with a mold. My dad had shaved. My cousin wore a blazer.
And I showed up with a guest.
A woman. You'd think I'd brought home a unicorn. The moment we walked in, my mom's eyes lit up like she'd just witnessed divine intervention. "Well, look at you," she said, air kissing both my cheeks and pretending she hadn't spent the last decade reminding me I was married to my work. My dad gave a short nod. "Finally brought someone around," I smiled. Said nothing. Let the assumptions roll in like fog. Emily, the cousin who always wore pearls and asked why I didn't soften my look, leaned across the table later and whispered, "Is she your girlfriend?" "She's very elegant." I smiled again. "Something like that." They all laughed, sipped their wine and mentally penciled in a wedding date I never agreed to. My cousin, Thomas, raised his glass midway through dinner and gave the same speech he always did when he thought the spotlight wasn't bright enough. Something about legacy, sacrifice, carrying on the family name. The company had been in our family for 3 generations, and now it was his turn to lead. He thanked our parents for trusting him, thanked the guests for believing in him, thanked God for giving him the strength to take this on. He did not thank me or even look at me. I poured myself more wine. Next to me, my guest stayed perfectly quiet, polite, observant. The only one at the table who wasn't pretending this wasn't about to become the most memorable meal of their lives. 3 months ago, I found out they'd signed everything over to Thomas. The company. The voting shares. The title. The authority. After 15 years of working side by side with my father, managing operations, running logistics, cleaning up messes Thomas created, they gave him everything. And gave me a smile and a vague "you'll always have a place here." A place like a couch cushion or a spare chair. They sat me down in the living room like they were breaking sad news to a loyal pet. "It's not that you're not capable," my mom had said, reaching for my hand like she was afraid I'd faint. "It's just, men like you aren't built for this kind of pressure. We didn't want to burden you. Your cousin," my dad added, "has that leadership instinct. He's decisive." Which was one way of saying he guesses and hopes for the best. I asked if they were serious. My dad nodded like he was signing a peace treaty. My mom just said, "You'll make an excellent support system. Behind every great man." She trailed off like it was supposed to be comforting. I smiled. Then I went home and started making arrangements. Back at dinner, my mother leaned in and gave me a knowing look. "She's very pretty," she whispered, nodding toward my guest. "Is she in fashion? You know, with your cousin running things now, it's probably a good time to start thinking about next steps for yourself. You could still have a family." I blinked. "A family?" She beamed. "You've always wanted kids, right?" I hadn't. Not particularly. But apparently what I wanted was irrelevant, as usual. Thomas was laughing with 2 of the board members who had shown up for the free steak and photo ops. One of them asked how it felt to be the man of the hour. He grinned. "I've been preparing for this since I was a kid. Uncle always said I had the natural instincts for it." Natural instincts, right? Like the instinct to blame me for missing quarterly goals. After spending the entire quarter playing golf and calling it networking, I took a slow sip of my wine. They were all smiling, comfortable in their delusions, congratulating themselves for making the smart choice. Dad leaned back in his chair watching Thomas with pride, like he'd personally carved